So my name is Gastón Véjar. I'm Group Product Manager for limehome. And I've been working for limehome for a little bit over 3.5 years. I think first, to understand what I'm going to talk later, it's good to have a little bit of context of what limehome actually does. We are quite young. We were founded in 2018 in Munich. And we are in the tech hospitality sector. So we are building our digital guest journey constantly. Even so, we're still trying to give the best possible quality of stay to our guests. And we do this by having great furniture and beds, and also these soothing aesthetics around it. We are trying to make everything comfortable for our guests, but also safe and easy to use in the physical product and also in the digital product as well. And all these changes that we are trying to leverage technology in our stays is trying to also pass those savings to the guest. So we try to have a good value for money. Right now, we have 126 properties, which encompass more than 2,000 rooms in 6 countries, in Germany, Austria, the Netherlands, Spain, Italy, and Hungary. And yeah, so here we have the guest journey. This is normal for all hospitality. The guest starts booking, so they search, find what they need to, a room that suits their needs. Then they do this via the website of a hotel, or they can also use these online travel agencies like Booking.com or Airbnb. Once they book their room, they prepare for travel. They have to get to the hotel, so either they take airplanes or buses, trains, or they travel by car, or a combination of these in order to get to the actual hotel. And then we have the part that we are going to focus today, that is the actual arrival. We have the check-in and the access. And these are the main things that all guests do through the reception. And then they have the stay for as long as they have booked. If they have, they enjoy the amenities and discover the city. If they are for work, they go to work, events, etc. And then finally, we have the checkout, where the guest basically gets their invoice, but this is also done through the reception usually. So now I want to talk about how we are doing the actual replacing the reception desk. My main goal today is first for you to get to know us, but also to see all the trade-offs that we have to do when doing this, and hopefully understanding a little bit of our products and the philosophy that we are using to do this. So first, the online check-in. If we were going to talk about what we do actually when we get to a hotel and put all the fields that the hotels take from us, we will get basically this, which is a very, very long form, which, as you can see, is, I would say, quite boring as well, and presents a lot of challenges. So basically, our first attempt was 5 screens of scrolling in mobile for guests, which is not super comfortable for them. But there are also other problems coming from this. So the first thing is that, okay, so it's a super long form. So what can we do to help guests to have less input in there? So we created this service where the guests will upload or take a picture of their ID, and then we will extract all that information to pre-fill all the fields in the form as possible. But then we have a different problem, because here, having all the fields at the same time, the guests basically can decide where they start filling the form themselves. And since no one has their ID at hand when they're filling the form, they start with the actual text fields, and then they look for their ID. So they will fill the form, and then they scan their ID, and all the information gets replaced, but they will never check again that part of the form. So if there's some mistake, basically the service was down, or the picture was blurry, or anything can have like a missing field, the guest will not check it anymore. And this is important because every time the guest tries to submit the check-in, the system will go up to the field that is missing or there's something wrong, like the ID, like the email address is not in the right format. And this is really annoying, especially if you have multiple fields that need fixing, because the guest will go up automatically to the first field, fix it, go down, try to submit, go up again, and until all the errors are fixed. So, yeah. So this is kind of our approach to try to fix this. So the first thing that you might see here is that we are changing a long form for actually a guided step system. So the first, we can control first the information that the guest is going to input, and then we can also give them some sense of accomplishment every time they go through a step, so it doesn't feel that long. And also, they can see the whole thing in basically 2 screens of scrolling. So here, also, every time the guests finish a step, they will see what they have already input, so they can go and fix it if there's something wrong. But also, in this case, you can see that all the information has been automatically imported from the ID, and the guest can review it for the first time there. And the last thing is that if there's an error, the guests see it immediately in front of them, so they don't have to scroll anywhere. And yeah, so with all of this, and if the guest has an account with us, or if they added all the information during their booking, we try to import that information as well, like the billing address and everything. So best case scenario, the guest only has to upload the pictures and then sign, and then the check-in is completed. But you might ask yourself, okay, so that's very nice, but how does the guest actually know that they have to do an online check-in? Because especially if they book through booking.com, for example, they will be expecting normal reception when they get to the hotel. And that would be a very good question, because that's something that we struggle with a lot. So here you can see, for example, the first image is our booking confirmation email, and it's a very nice email. It has everything that the guest needs to know, but guests don't actually read it, because basically they expect to get this email every time they booked, and yeah, okay, it's my booking confirmation, there's nothing special about it. And that will be correct. I think it's a fair assumption, because we actually call it booking confirmation. So what we did was created another email that looked exactly the same, but we call it check-in reminder. That actually just wanted the guest to prompt them into the check-in. But guests also didn't read it, and we were struggling trying to find why this was happening. We changed the subject to try to make it very urgent that they need to do something with that. And that improved the numbers a little, but not that much. And I mean, not that much in terms of we needed to get most of the guests to do the check-in before the arrival, because afterwards, if they are in front of the door, the pain is too high for us, because there's something that may be wrong with the check-in, and we need someone to take a look at it, and the guest would be standing in front of the door without being able to enter. So we find out, after interviewing a lot of guests, that the actual problem was that it seemed too automatic. So something that could be ignored because it was being sent to everyone. So what we did, and maybe you can see in the second image just below, basically what we did is remove all the template, everything. It looks like it was written by a human, and we basically are saying there, hey, I was checking the arrivals for tomorrow. I see that you haven't done the check-in. Remember that we don't have a reception. Please do it. Here's the link again. And that immediately increased the engagement of that email by 20%, which is still not perfect, but it was much better. And once we get the guests to the check-in, we need a place where we can actually share the codes that the guest needs to enter the rooms. We have these access systems that basically the guests enter their access codes, and that allow them into the property and then into their room. And so we build this page that we call the guest hub with every step of the guest journey. The page changes a little bit. So before doing the check-in, they have a prompt to do the check-in. Later, they have a countdown to get in their access codes. During their stay, the codes are displayed there. And after checkout, they can get their invoice. But then we get a different problem, which is how we add more information to this, because every time we want to add information, the page gets bigger and they need to scroll more, and the guests don't like scrolling. So I went to the designer. I actually asked them, remember Windows Phone, which, yes, if you are looking horrified, that's exactly the same expression that the designer had, but bear with me. So what I was referring to was that these tiles actually have a little bit of information, but when you click them, you can go directly into more details. And so the whole page actually works as an important information panel. And you can see this is kind of like the start of widgets as well. And widgets is something that Google and Apple consistently use today. So we tried to do something very similar. So again, we redesigned the whole thing. We have all the stages as well, with a big prompt of what they need to do in specifically on this stage of the stay. And we build it with these tiles. Each tile have a little bit of information, and it's very intuitive that they need to click it in order to get more information from them. So here is a few examples. So we have basically the booking information tile that gets the guest can see all the details, plus perform some actions like extend your stay. Here in this stage, the guest is ongoing. So, but if they were going inside before the start of their stay, they could also cancel the reservation through there. And the suite details, they get all the information about the physical product and the house rules and everything. And the same for the receipt of invoice. They will get to download their invoice through there. And the last thing that I want to show you today is basically how we are guiding the guests to enter their room. So whenever the guest already gets their access codes because the check-in was successful, they can enter through these tiles. And basically the first step is to get them to the front of the property. And once they are there, we show them how to interact with the access system. And then basically how to navigate inside the property itself. This changes from property to property, but this is a combination of signs inside the property and what we show here in the digital journey. And finally, how to interact with the access codes of the room itself. Yeah. So thank you a lot. I hope you found this interesting and applicable, hopefully, for some of the issues that you're facing. So yeah, thank you so much.